Happy Friday morning to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Why so cold this winter? Well, this is the reason here. I'll be giving more information, in fact, a presentation on this at the Jakewith Public Library on Saturday tomorrow from 10 o'clock to 11:30. Review, we have a trough of lower pressure out west. This is going to be a system that's going to roll in and be the main issue for utility concerns and travel issues that'll arrive on Sunday. Right now we have relative warmth to the south, cold to the north, and if anything, the cold is pretty locked in across most of Canada. It looks like there's going to be a pattern change at some point here in the near future, especially as we get into the mid to late part of next week. Looking at precipitation type only. So we have a weather system that's near the middle Atlantic coast that's going to be pushing off eventually, and mostly as rain, of course. Then we have our weather system inbound on Sunday. This is mostly a rainstorm that will hit colder air associated with this Arctic high that's located over Quebec. And as it does so, it will cause snow to fall, and then eventually the intrusion of milder air aloft will thin things out. It'll shallow the atmosphere out, and we'll see that change over to sleet, freezing rain fairly briefly, and then quickly to rain. And we go back to snow or snow showers, and we have a vorticity lobe that will then work on through. This is going to develop for basically Monday night into Tuesday. Nothing of any great measure, but we're looking at maybe up to a couple of inches. That moves on out. We get a better day on Wednesday with an area of higher pressure building in. And then beyond this period, we're going to see a major warm-up. And this is from a storm system. This here is valid Wednesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is a storm system that will produce probably strong thunderstorm activity throughout the plains. We'll have near blizzard conditions here that will stretch in up into the upper Midwest, the upper plains, and so forth. And then eventually, this is going to be pushing into the Great Lakes. And this is a major mild intrusion for us, and this is really going to change up our weather pattern, along with more rain showers. And this will be moving in, it looks like, for the Thursday, Friday period. We'll have to watch snowmelt, as that will be the new focus. Looking at a southeasterly gradient wind gust situation, it'll be developing and ramping up during the morning hours, probably starting pre-dawn. And then it'll pick up, but it's mostly confined to the higher terrain as it looks right now. And this is valid about 7 o'clock or through 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday. Then it's out of here. I don't really see a whole lot going on. Some gusty winds, but below thresholds thereafter. Looking at the GFS ensemble, you can see that we have one main issue here, and this is our Sunday precipitation. That'll be followed by a little bit on as we get into Monday night and Tuesday, a little bit of snow. So total precipitation amounts are really not that spectacular. We're talking about generally just barely getting up to about a half inch by the end of the period with this main system. You're looking at about 4/10, 4,500 of an inch or so. So in terms of precipitation type, you can see that we start out as snow with a high percentage there, and it changes over to rain. We're up to about 60% chances for a change over to rain, and then back to snow, just a little bit of freezing rain and a little bit of sleet. And the air aloft determines this. Of course, the temperatures aloft, and we about the top of Mount Mansfield, 850 hectopascals. We get up to about the 0 degree line. Note, here's our next warm intrusion, and this is what's coming in toward the end of next week. 850 hectopascal wind gusts. Note that we're up around greater than 50 knots, and this is roughly when we start to see wind issues. We're in up around the 55 to 60 knot jet. So this will be out of the southeast and then shifting more southerly and then eventually southwesterly. Total atmospheric moisture, looking at PWatts or precipitable water measurements, it's just barely a half inch. And you can see what we might be looking at later on down the road, approaching 1 inch. Switching to 2-meter temperatures, you can see the diurnal ranges. We're coming from some real cold temperatures here, and you can see that we're headed for much better, more seasonable conditions, even not quite seasonable, but we're working ourselves toward that, and this is definitely going to happen as we get into Sunday, and then a little bit of a dip in temperature, and then back up we go. A good part of the country is definitely getting much needed rainfall, and too much rain in the southern areas, especially the southeast United States. You can see some sort of a storm track here, and a lot of that's moving in from the west. It's moved from the west coast and Pacific coast to the interior section, so they're getting some pretty good snows in some of the highest elevations of the Rockies. In terms of temperature, cold out west, a little bit warmer to the south and east, trying to make some inroads. That's going to happen, of course, on Sunday. And we're close to seasonal neutral. This is 5-day maximum temperatures over the next 5 days. 3 days later, we're into the warmer than normal era. It gets cold out west. I'm going to switch this to here. So you can see our colder than normal weather currently in place. Notice that the Arctic areas are seeing a much above normal temperatures. Kind of a mix in some spots. Antarctica, same kind of deal. The world as a whole is running about 0.7 of a degree Celsius above normal. Northern hemisphere 1 degree above normal. Southern hemisphere 0.4. Arctic is 2.8 degrees above normal. Antarctic now 1.7 degrees above normal. And the tropics are these more solid, more stable 0.6 of a degree above normal. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.